Hey, welcome back to the KC Glassworks YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to get started on a new project, but not before I clean my mess. So let's hit that time lapse. Gonna clean this bench off, then I'll show you what we're working on today. Okay. Now I'm ready to get started with cutting my pieces. So I've already laid out a few of the colors. So I only have the green ready and the background color ready, which is a clear background. So this is the piece that I'm working on. These are all the pieces that I cut out of cardstock for tracing my pattern. So there's a lot of pieces here, a lot of small ones too. But this is what the final design looks like, and in the center is going to be this piece of glass with a hand-painted family on there, because they already have a frame. Basically, this is the sister design to one that I've already made for them that says Friends in the middle, and they wanted to order another one for their room that was similar design, similar colors, just they wanted it to be the word family. So I had a friend paint this family on here and fire it because I haven't done that yet. So yeah, so this is the design. I've already done all of my Photoshop work as far as putting my width of lead that I'm doing. So this is 7/32 lead, and I've already taken into account the gap, cut everything out with lead scissors. I have a previous video on how to do all of these steps. I'll link them all in the description below. You can watch how to draw your pattern, how to make your pattern the correct size from Photoshop, how to use your Cricut if you would rather use your Cricut. Other than cutting out with pattern shears. I like using both, so I just went the route of printing it on cardstock and cutting it out with the pattern shears. So now what I'm going to do is start cutting some glass, or scoring and breaking some glass. I'm going to start with these very small leaves, and I'm probably going to lay them out on my pattern as I go, just to make sure I didn't miss any and I'm not discovering that by the end. So that's probably what I'm going to do as I am breaking these all out of this sheet of glass. Same with, maybe everything. I'll probably just lay it out, set it down, and then I will end up going to the grinder, cleaning up the edges. And yeah, so let's get started. Hey everyone, so this is the beginning of a little bit of a frustrating build that I wasn't really expecting from the start. I knew that I was sort of in the mood to just hurry up and get it done, because I had talked to these clients probably about 2 months ago, and we had agreed on design and colors and everything pretty quickly. And then that's whenever I was running into finding out I was pregnant and then leaving my job. So this really got pushed on the back burner for quite a while. And now I'm sort of pushing into show season, which is making me want to make inventory, which also made this sort of push me back in time, which I think added to the frustration of this build just a little bit. Plus, I got sick literally the second day of building this, and yeah, so it kind of really stunk. I still think it came out really awesome, and I always tend to go with these little bit more challenging patterns, and of course I was sort of in a hurry / rush to get this done as quickly and efficiently as possible, but then I also didn't take into account actually how complicated this piece was going to be, even though it's not very big. All these pieces were pretty small and had a lot of curves in them, and I was using some pretty difficult glass. So you'll definitely see that throughout this video. But yeah, so this is a sister panel to one that they already had from me, so it was a gift from somebody else. A friend had ordered a custom window for this family, and they wanted the center of the window to say friends. So I had put permanent vinyl in the center of that one, spelled out friends in cursive, and created sort of this ribbon effect that you'll see in the ending, with the colors and the leaves. So it's sort of the same design concept, just a little bit different. She didn't want it to be the exact same. She didn't want the colors to be the exact same. So here you see all the leaves actually laid out after I ground them all and just checked that I had them. So this is the same background color that she chose, which was this clear, but it has this sort of wood grain texture to it, and it's very linear. It was not liking these really sharp, crazy curves that I was trying to get out of it, and I broke several of these pieces. So this one that you see right here, I was basically just trying to get a feel of how this glass was going to be breaking for me, and I was already having some difficulty. So I had taken out that big chunk in the middle, and then I started working on all of these little small inner curves, and I thought going with that middle one was going to be the way to go. But no, I completely broke that piece. So I decided to go a different way with it, and I just started scoring all of those curves first, and that is what ended up working out in the end for this glass texture for whatever weird reason. It was still really frustrating because it was just not the easiest glass to use for these crazy pieces that I decided I was going to try and keep one single piece. In the end, I did not end up keeping them one single piece, which you'll see whenever I start building. But yeah, like I got that one. I'm pretty sure I get both of these done, and then I end up like retracing that one that I broke and then cutting it out again. And I knew I still had plenty of glass if that would have happened, especially like to all of them. I just was trying to really avoid having to trace them out and then, you know, use the ring saw. I just really wanted to just get these punched out and not have to spend so much time shaping with the ring saw and the grinder. So I was just like, you know, really pushing to get this panel done. So I think at this point, yeah, I was like drawing that other one on, getting this one punched out. So yeah, for whatever reason, like taking out all of the curves was the way to go with this glass. And it's pretty thick. It was a little frustrating to even like lead because I was using round lead, and if you've used round lead, you really can't like open it up. It's very hard to stretch out and open up for whatever reason, I guess just because of how tight that curve is. So yeah, okay, so here's the broken one that I retraced out. And I really like using this pen that I was using, so it's just a chalk pen, but it's really thin, and I can get it right up against the piece and just score really close to my line, rather than using a Sharpie. I don't know. This was just working for me at the time. This is what I was using. But, like, if you rub your finger on it, you lose it in 2 seconds, so not great for using in water because it'll be gone. It's a chalk pen. But I was like, I like the tip of it because it's really skinny. So I eventually got this one, which was nice. Okay, so like all those are done, and I ground all those. They all came out fine, especially matching it up to the pattern. It looked fine. And then the color that she picked for the inner circle, the like main color of this piece, was Yakagani True Dichro. I did end up showing the color ID, but I don't remember what it was. And I traced all those out. So I kind of blocked away a big chunk of this sheet glass because there was a lot of inclusions on it from the furnace whenever they had poured this glass. And the glass tends to like break really weird, like it just did. It broke a piece that I had to end up redrawing on. And I was having so much trouble with this, so I ended up turning off the camera because I really just needed to concentrate and just watch myself score and break this because it was just getting on my last nerve. And I was just really trying to push to get this done. So, I mean, this glass is beautiful, don't get me wrong, and if I was in the right state of mind of, like, okay, I'm going to take my time and do this right, I probably could have done it, but I was just in rush mode to get this done, so I ended up turning off the camera pretty much and just cutting it and having to redo a couple pieces, but, you know, it was all fine in the end, so I'll see you in a second. Hey friends, so it's day 2 of the family build, the family panel build. Obviously it's 0 time for you, but it's day 2 for me. So where I stopped yesterday was cutting out the True Dichro Yakagini glass, and I'm going to grind that now. And then I'm going to cut the rest of the glass, which is only just white glass, which is the border and a little couple accents. But if I sound completely stuffed up, it's because I am. So we're just working through this, working as much as I can today. And then hopefully we'll at least start leading today because I don't have too much more glass to cut out. All the really difficult glass is already done, so it's just a matter of getting the rest of it done and starting to build. So that's where we're gonna start next, is the actual build. I'm just gonna get the rest of the stuff cut out. And yeah, so let's get started on day 2. I have all of the rest of my pieces cut out and ground. Now I have my pattern taped down to my table, and I'm going to set up my square so that it is the correct distance away from the pattern, and get ready at building. Okay, so I got started building this. I just time-lapsed it, but I was also just in hurry up, get it done mode, and this build became very frustrating very fast, mostly because of that, because I just wanted it to be easy and I wanted it to go fast, and it was everything but that. And I ended up breaking this clear piece that I just put in because I was trying to smush it all in there and not really take my time. And yeah, so I ended up like going with just keeping it broken and putting a piece of lead in the middle of it, and I did the same thing for the opposite side to make it match. But I did eventually get it done. It took me a few hours, and the next steps for me now that it's completely built, is cementing, polishing, and framing it. So I'll be framing it with the oak framing that I do not like, but that's what I framed their first panel in, so that's what I'm going to be framing this one in also, and I'll be painting it black to match their other one. So that's my steps next. I'm just happy that I have it done, that the hard part is over, and I'm going to be riding into, you know, just finishing it out, making it look really nice for them, and then delivering it to them. So I am really happy with how it looks, obviously. I mean, I wish it would have went just a little bit easier, but I was sick and, you know, really wanting this to be done because I felt bad for the customer. But here it is, all done in the end. It's obviously not sunny out, but this glass is absolutely beautiful. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you. Bye.